Welcome to another episode of Greg's Camera Corner, I think is what I called this. It's not actually in a corner, but it feels like a good name, so we're sticking with it. Actually, I have a box sitting here in front of me, which can only mean one thing. It's camera haul time. And this time, it's not an old Sony camcorder again. Instead, we're going back to DJI. And this time, I have the DJI Osmo Action 4. I've been a big fan of DJI Osmo Action cameras. In fact, I had the first one. I skipped the second one. That one was a little different. I got the third one, which I actually used this summer, and then I now have the 4. I keep selling them off to finance the new ones, and that's what I did with this one. Only in this case, I timed the market perfectly because typically, this is not only a camera haul, but a deal haul too. This camera is typically $400. And then I saw on Amazon it dropped down to $300, and I was like, ooh, this is the time to strike. And then I saw a deal pop up on Slip Deals where this was actually $239 from DJI directly for the refurbished version. And I was like, oh, should I do that? So I started looking up some reviews of what people are saying about refurbished DJI items. Try saying that once. And everyone said you can't even tell that they're used. And as I'm looking at this packaging right here, if it wants to focus, I need an action camera for this shot is what I need. It looks brand new. And for $239, I was like, dude, I'm pulling the trigger on that because I can use this for all of our outdoor activities, which, you know, God willing, if winter ever ends, I like to get back out there, but I think I can use this just for vlogging and all kinds of other things because they actually made some improvements with this, with the low light capabilities, something that GoPro hasn't done in years. I'm still using the GoPro Hero 10 and I actually really like that. In fact, outside of being like more hidden, like I like to film my phone because no one notices, but I like the quality that comes out of the action cam better. Plus it's more stable and wider and it just looks better. So I think I'm gonna try to make this more of a primary use camera, particularly because I just spent $239 on it. So let's open this up and we'll see if a refurbished unit from DJI is truly worth it and if it was worth the savings that I got on it. Spoiler alert, I think it's gonna be. Hey, you can kind of see yourself there, or see me looking at you, looking at me. I really didn't anticipate this having like the factory seal on it. Is this even a refurbished copy? It seems brand new. I've opened up plenty of DJI products and this to me feels like it was never even used. Now that's not to say that they didn't just package it up like this. They might have, so we'll have to see. I know this is a DJI unboxing, but I want to say Apple does this better than anyone else. Like, it's so easy to get into their stuff. This, I always feel like I'm like struggling. So I might just get my knife out again and we'll just cut right down through there. They're supposed to be making this easy for you. There, we got the plastic off. I don't know if anyone likes watching these videos, but I'm like, hey, I have this. Let's do it properly. Then someday I can look back on this and be like, oh, isn't that cute? Look at me opening up that old ancient camera that I now have the DJI Action 26. Oh, he was talking about 4K. We're now living in virtual reality. The struggle is real here. There we go. There's the camera sitting right there. Let's see what it looks like. Because that's the only part of this that really matters, is the camera. And as it looks there, I mean, it looks pretty profesh to me. There was a part of me that was like, well, maybe I should just pay the extra $60 or whatever to get the new one, but then I thought, hey, why not save 20% and get this? And look at that. Does it get much newer? There's no fingerprints. There's literally no sign of anyone ever coming in contact with this. Take that off, and there you go. I think the battery is actually in here, so we'll probably need that, I would think, if we're going to turn this on, because I do want to show you what it's like. Oh my gosh, I'm now remembering, I've been using the GoPro lately since I sold my old Action 3 off. I'm remembering just how nice it is opening all these doors on this in comparison to the GoPro. They're so hard to open and DJI just does it so much better. I also like how this thing very quickly turns on and then turns off when you hit the record button. It's just lovely. It's such a better experience in GoPro, and it's crazy how DJI came in and kind of beat GoPro at their own game. Now I know DJI is all about the drones and things like that, and they do that extremely well. But yeah, look at this. That's all sealed up too. Holy smokes. This is just like brand new. This makes me so glad that I did not spend $400 or even $300 on this because this stuff's just, it's all good. There's the battery. Does it have any charge? See if we can get a little clip going here from the Action. There you go. DJI battery. Let's put that in. And there it is. I have to set it all up and everything. Oh, I remember that sound. I got to set this all up, but I'll try to do a clip here so you can see what this baby's like. On the refurbished side of things, I'm using a Nikon camera now. First ever Nikon. Autofocus, it does not like to focus on reflective things. It doesn't like that kind. Welcome to Greg's Camera Corner. But yeah, let's get this all set up and we'll try it out and you can decide what the quality is like. Probably outside of autofocus issues aside, which, you know, if it's just me, the camera is like, oh yeah, we got you. This may not look as good, but certainly more portable, and I would not jump into the ocean or swimming pool with this camera, but I would definitely do it with this, and I have, only older versions of it. I already have the DJI app on my phone, so this should be a very quick setup. Osmo device found, connect. And they just make this so darn easy for you. You just confirm that those numbers are the same, which they certainly are. So I'm going to click accept on the camera. And I agree. This is where you sell your soul to the devil, basically. Showed my personal email address, which I don't really want to put out there necessarily. Activation success. All I'm doing right now is just putting the date in. Definitely going to be turning down the clicking sounds. Okay, literally just like that. We're in. I just have to run down and get an SD card out of my studio, and I'll give you a little test footage here and show you what this baby's like. That's how easy it was to set up. That was like less than a minute. Having already had the app and everything, it's just so simple. Got my micro SD card, and putting this in is super easy. You just take that flap down, and then you put the card in the side, just like that. Make sure it clicks in. You put that back, and then I'm going to change the settings on this. I must have something on that card because I only have 15 minutes of recording footage. There you can see me. And I'm going to switch this from 1080p. I do 4K 16:9, I do 30 frames per second, and then I keep it on rock steady just to give myself some stabilization. The one last thing I'll do before I hit the record button is over here, you can change the field of view. I like wide, but I also like the standard D-warp because then it looks less like an action cam. So I'm going to put it on that. And because I'm in 4K, I now only have 6 minutes of footage left. I notice all of our beach footage is on there. So I'm going to switch over now and you'll see what it's like from the Osmo Action 4. Here we were before, and now I'm switched over. Hopefully I don't have my fingers or anything on the microphone. We'll just turn this off. This is the camera that was struggling with the focus. You're in focus right now, it looks like, which is good. But here's what this looks like. Front screen looks a little slow. A little laggy. How's the back? Maybe I should put this in 60 frames per second. So I'm in 4K 30 right now. I did say something about low light too, so I don't know if like it enables some type of low light thing to help me out because of the lighting in there, but out here it shouldn't be too bad. In fact, let me end that clip and I'll come back and we'll see if it makes any difference. Notice anything? Any difference was made when I turned it off or turned it on? I don't think so. The audio, I should say this, the audio probably sounds way worse because I was using, it's actually the DJI mic. I cover up the logo because this advertising ain't free. This isn't gonna sound nearly as good because I'm not using that. But if I want to, it's very easy to use the DJI mic with this camera because it literally just plugs into the USB-C thing on the side. So darn easy. So that's another reason too, because I thought if I ever want to go podcasting out in the wild, I just have this mic on, have a little furry wind thing that goes on top of it, and then I plug it into the side, put it on a selfie stick, and boom, we are good to go. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Let's go into like a lower lighting situation here, and we'll see how this looks. Again, not nearly as good as a regular camera, but these are more kind of meant for outside. I should show you the other thing that happened in here when I was trying to get my makeshift tripod, which is this little craft box. Look what I did. How are the colors coming through there? I'm like, Clark, man, you got a big mess to clean up. No, I'm gonna do it. This is the price that I pay for not going and getting a proper tripod. I was like, yeah, I'll just use this thing and we'll put my camera on top of that, which is, you know, a fairly precarious thing. This whole table is just an absolute nightmare. I mean, this is like our craft area and like my mailing zone and obviously Pokemon card openings. It's bad, but now the floor is bad too, which is not great. But here you can see just how wide this is. And again, this is on standard. Let me put this on ultra wide so you can see what that looks like. We are crazy wide now. This is a field of view that I would not recommend for filming yourself like I'm doing now because everything looks very odd, especially if I get into like the side here. Look how weird things get. But if you're doing like first person stuff, like say I was cleaning these things up, for example. Look how wide that is. Look how tall I look. I look like I'm 7 feet tall, maybe 70 feet tall. But yeah, this is what it would look like doing the cleanup of shame after that thing exploded. But this is ultra wide. This is probably not great unless you're doing like some first person action stuff, which probably not gonna be me. I'm more of a vlog type. I'll show you what wide looks like. That's the middle ground between these. Here's wide. Let me step into something like this corner here so you can see how that kind of bends when we get to the outside of the frame. See how that bends like that? That's what the standard field eliminates. Some people don't like the way that looks. It's not super bad, but I feel like this camera is wide enough. Like I literally have this camera like inches away from my face. If I go all the way out, it's still pretty darn wide. So I think with the DJI in particular, you can get away with just using the standard, which I'll switch back to again so you can see that once more. Now we're back in standard, and as you can see, the walls are not flexing out like they were. Still pretty wide. I can go all the way out here. This is with like my arm fully extended. That's what this looks like. And that's the big benefit to this. Not only stabilization, so I can kind of walk around and it's a nice stable shot, but also it's nice and wide, so you're not like right up in my face like this. Like if I switch back to my Nikon, which I'll do here to kind of wrap this up, you'll see just what a difference it is. So keep this image burned in your brain right here. This is wide, or standard, I guess. Standard D-warp. And then I'll show you what it looks like through my Nikon, which has a 16mm lens at its widest. You can see just the huge difference in field of view on that. This is 16mm, and that was just on the standard, so you can think about how wide we can go. Now this is nice because I can zoom into things like myself, for example, if you want to get really crazy, and if you really want to scare people away, you can do that. So that's nice, and this obviously has better image quality, but sometimes there's a place for an action cam, and I'm excited to have this one for $239 from DJI, supposedly refurbished. News to me. If they didn't tell me it was refurbished, I wouldn't even know. In fact, they could have sent a refurbished one to me, and I've been like, how would you even tell? So that's everything. You do get like a case with this if you want to put it on things, and then there's like the mounts and stuff. I have my own things for that, so I probably won't even use these. You get a USB charging thing, and then like one of the screws that goes in there. But I'm good on all that stuff. I had these cameras long enough that I don't need to worry about it. But there you go. That's my brand newest camera, I should say, DJI Osmo Action 4. You'll be seeing a lot of this coming up here this spring and summer when we go out and about, particularly when we go on vacations and to the beach, and when we're just outside in general. I'll probably be using this camera quite extensively. So on that, I hope you enjoyed coming along with me on this journey in new cameras. I have some cleaning up to do, obviously, so that's what I'll be doing now. I hope you guys have a glorious rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next camera and cleanup review here in Greg's Camera Corner.